Hello YouTube and welcome back to another Dare to Game video. Today we're playing Valheim, and I'm here to give you my 30-hour initial response sort of review video. Before I put in 1,000 hours. And honestly, with this game, right up front, I think I'm probably going to be putting in at least 1,000 hours. This game is way better than I expected it to be. So as I've said, I've played it for approximately 30 hours already. I mean, just a brief overview. This is a single player or co-op or multiplayer. I believe up to 10 players or 8, something like that. It's a decently high number. Oops. That was a grayling. Game. It's survival crafting, adventure, light RPG. So there's skills you can upgrade. As you can see, there's armor and weapons. There's combat. There are boss fights. But at its core, it's survival crafting. So there's an open world. You need to build if you're going to live somewhere. There are various settlements you can find that are all decrepit, and you can fix them up, or you can build one from scratch. You can terraform the ground, make it flatter if you want to build there, or you can raise it up if you want to increase it that way. And you can build basically anything you want. So, I mean, there are tons of options of things to build. There's oceans in this world, so you can build boats and explore, go to different islands. There's various different terrains, swamps, forests, plains, mountains, each with their own specific bad guys that are going to be roaming around, make it dangerous, or climate problems. So if you go into the mountains, it's cold, so you got to have cold weather gear, or you'll freeze to death, and quickly. Like I said, you can build pretty near anything you want. There's a ton of different kinds of weapons and armor, but you have to develop them. It's something I think this game does very well, because you don't just start off with good armor and weapons, and you can't just make them. You have to slowly develop it over time. So, like, I'm wearing iron armor right here. It takes forever to get to iron armor. You start out with basically a cloth sack on you, and over time, if you kill some animals, you can get some leather and develop leather armor. And that's a huge step up. And then if you happen across a troll and you manage to take down the troll, you can kill him and make troll hide armor. And eventually, after you've beaten the first boss, you'll get antlers, which you can use to make your first pickaxe, and then you can mine tin and copper, but you got to go find the tin and copper, and then you can smith that down and make it into bronze. And once you've got bronze, you can mine and you can use that for a better pickaxe and mine better stuff. I love the way that you develop in this game. It's what I've told people. It's a slow burn. Now, when I say that, I don't mean it's ridiculously slow. It's not grindy. Nothing about this game feels abnormal. Like, there's no grinding. It doesn't feel like, oh my god, I just got to keep doing this. It all feels very natural. There's physics in this game that are surprisingly good for a game that I'm guessing had a decently low budget. As you can see, I chopped down a tree and took 2 or 3 hits, but it damaged the tree next to it, and that tree fell down. So they're trying to simulate, a tree breaking another tree down. Also, you don't want to get hit by stuff that falls, because it will straight up kill you. I've died 2 or 3 times in this game, and it's 2 of those times were from trees falling on me. So there's a lot of things you have to be aware of. Premise of the game is very simple. So it's Norse mythology themed. It's not historically accurate for like a Scandinavian Viking sort of game. But so you're set in this world, which is procedurally generated, which if I was going to complain, that would be my only complaint, is I don't like procedurally generated worlds. I prefer carefully crafted worlds. They may get repetitive or whatever, but I like the consistency. But this is a procedurally generated world, and you're basically in Viking purgatory. So if you die, you respawn, and you keep going. So as far as I know, there's no permadeath in this game. There probably is a mode for that, or will be eventually, but there currently isn't one as far as I can tell. But basically, you explore this world, there's tons of enemies that you fight, and sometimes you need to get some of those enemies, like get a trophy from them, so you can summon the bosses, and there's various bosses that you can fight, and each one helps you progress further. And it's just, like I said, I'm surprised how much I actually like this game. I was initially turned off when I first heard about it about a month ago. I saw some stuff on Steam. It wasn't released yet, but I was initially turned off by the art style. But then when it got released, I saw a gameplay video, and I was like, actually, that doesn't look that bad, like art style-wise. I think I might enjoy that. Generally speaking, I go for the more photorealistic stuff. Your Kingdom Come Deliverance, your Medieval Dynasty. Yes, I know it's not actually photorealistic, but that's the goal. You can tell that they tried really hard to make everything look as realistic as possible, while also running on the systems that they wanted it to run on. This game doesn't take that approach. It's a step up from Breath of the Wild, like realism-wise, but honestly, I got used to it, and I love how the world looks. It's a little bit more cartoony, but I really, really enjoy how it looks. I like how everything works in the game. All the mechanics make sense. They're intuitive. It's definitely not difficult to learn how to play or navigate the world. And speaking of the world, as I said, it's procedurally generated, and it's huge. So, like, this is me. This is the island I'm on. This is the symbol for a boss. It's the first boss I fought. And you spawn right here, so you don't have to go far to learn in the game. But you see all this land that I've explored? It seems like a lot, right? This is the world. This map is massive. There's so much stuff to do in here. And like I said, I've been playing the single player, and it's been a great experience. Like, I honestly love it. But it's also co-op or multiplayer. So you can either drop into a server and play with randos, or you could, you know, set up a co-op session and play with your friends like you would on The Forest or 7 Days to Die or something. And really, that is what I love. Because I don't love playing with random people online. If I don't have, like, one of my friends to play with, I'd much rather just play single player. I love playing, you know, drop-in co-op with, like, 2 to 4 people, especially if they're people I know. And this is a game that supports that, and it plays really well as a co-op game. Because everything you do in here is difficult. Like, it's not grindy, like I said, but if you want to build a big castle, you can do that. But it takes work. You have to actually go at it. So it's definitely a system that I find very rewarding and difficult. As far as complaints about it go, I don't have many. This is honestly one of the few games I've ever played, especially that's early access like this, where I like it as much as I do. One complaint I have is the terraforming system is a little weird. It's not as straightforward as most games that allow you to terraform. I don't have the tool with me or I'd show you, but basically you can raise and lower ground. And the problem is the leveling system, like the lowering system, is a leveling system. So it seems to base it off of the ground around it. So if you want to bring it down below that so you can, say, build your floor for a house that you're trying to build and you want it to be even, it can be difficult to do that. But with that in mind, you can also build things up relatively easily, so it's not hard to get around that. And you can terraform, you just have to get used to it. And that's as far as the building goes. But the building in this game is great. It's in Medieval Dynasty, which is the game I'm probably most often going to compare this to because they're pretty similar. You build in units, so you can build a house, or you can build a barn, or something like that. Everything is piecework in here. So as I showed you before, you can... oops, that's not what I wanted to do. Building. So you could build a door, or a wall section, or different types of roof. And it's all very limited right now. I'm guessing that as they develop, they're going to be adding more variety. They're, at the moment... Oops. At the moment, you can build basic wood stuff pretty early, and later in the game, once you've developed the ability to quarry and cut stone, you can build stone stuff. So you could, like I said, you could straight up make a castle in this game. Personally, I think that's where it shines the most, is the building system. But I love building systems, so that's just my opinion. The combat is excellent. Resource gathering feels very natural. It never feels forced. Everything's fun. Like I said, nothing about this game is grindy. I really love it. It's $19 right now on Steam. Kind of a no-brainer. Honestly, probably the best game to come out in 2021 so far. I definitely recommend it. Like I said, it is early access, so it'll be changing. But based on what we have already, I can only guess that any changes are just going to add content and polish things, make it better. The combat's fun. The exploration is fun. The world it's a survival world. You need to take care of yourself, but it's not crazy punishing. It's something that you can easily manage, and there's food that you can forage all over the place. There's various different skills. There's swords, axes, spears, glaives, archery. There's just all sorts of different stuff to do, and it's an amazing game. I'm honestly wildly impressed. This is the most impressed I've been with the game since I picked up Kingdom Come Deliverance, because it's got basically everything I wanted. I definitely recommend it. If you don't like early access titles, then maybe it's a game that you avoid for now. But honestly, it feels like a fully polished game. The only time you'll ever notice any stuttering or anything like that is when it'll autosave, because every once in a while it autosaves because there's not a manual save feature. Oh, and that brings me back to my only other complaint about the game. There's actually no pause, which makes sense because it's at its heart, even if you're playing single player, it is a multiplayer game. But so you press escape or whatever your button is to like go to the menu, that doesn't pause the game. So if you want to leave the computer, you almost have to exit the game. Otherwise, you're probably going to get murdered by one of the various monster / bad guys in the game because they'll come up and kill you. That happened to me once. Also, there's no like invisible walls or anything like that, so you can straight up stumble into areas where there are really dangerous enemies. It's not leveled, like there's not, oh, this is a level 43, you can't do any damage to them. But, you know, you might, with no armor or weapons, stumble into a troll and just get destroyed. Or like me, climbing into the mountains after I got my first cloak and I was like, hey, cool, I can go explore the cold areas. I got killed by a drake. You know, an ice-breathing dragon. It was very, very cool. Well, a drake's different from a dragon, but very similar. There's a massive variety of enemies in this game, a massive variety of terrains. You unlock new technologies and new things to be able to craft by finding the materials. So when you first start off, you're going to be able to make a stone axe, as is very common for survival crafting games. That quickly, you'll find out you can cut down certain trees, like I believe fir and alder are the first two that you can cut down, but you can't cut down anything harder than that until you get a better axe. And you can get flint axes if you find flint, and that's slightly better. Or once you get to where I have an iron axe, but I had a bronze axe, and then you can cut down things like birch trees and oak trees, and you can get fine wood, and then you can make better bows and better different things for your house. And I love this game. I love the system that you progress. I love the combat. I love everything about it. So like I said, I definitely recommend this game. I'm going to have a link in the description or pinned in the comment section, one or the other, to the Steam page. If this is the type of game you like, definitely pick it up because it's great. But that's all for today. This is my first impressions. Like I said, I did about 30, I think I'm at 35 hours of gameplay in it. So I definitely see this one going far. Hope you enjoyed this video. We'll see you next time. Thanks for watching another Dare to Game video. If you liked this video, please leave a like and a comment. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to the channel. If you like my content and would like to support this channel, consider becoming a member today for as little as $1.99 a month. It makes a huge difference. But in any case, thanks for watching and have a nice day. I'll see you next time.